Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Robin, and this experience occurred in on October 26th of 2013 and was documented on February 27th of 2018. Open quote. I was a deputy sheriff responding to an active shooter. Upon trying to stop the offender, he shot me with an AK-47. It felt like a bomb had taken my leg off. The bullet shattered my left femur, femoral artery, and vein. Firefighters were on the scene immediately. As I was bleeding out, I felt myself above the scene. A bright light surrounded my head, and all I could see was 360 degrees of blinding light. As I was above the scene, I could hear the firefighters working on me. I was peacefully confident that I wasn't going to die, but I knew they thought I was. I could hear, but I couldn't see because of the blinding light. I felt very calm and peaceful. I kept thinking and sort of telling my rescuers, I'm still here, I'm still here. At that time, I had coded out. But then, on the way to the hospital, I was in and out of consciousness. I later spoke with firefighters who saved my life, and they told me at one point they thought they had lost me. According to medical records, I coded out again before the first of several surgeries. I didn't have another NDE. Close quote. Robin. There are some questions here. Question, did you feel separated from your body? Answer, I was above the scene with a strong sense of what was happening below, but nothing exceptional that I could verify later. That's the end of that. You're rating your highest level of consciousness versus normal every day. Answer, more conscious and alert. I can only explain the consciousness and alertness as pure peace and a confident knowing that I wasn't going to die, even though I knew it was a critical situation. And what time were you at your highest level of consciousness? Answer, soon after I left my body and was floating above the scene. I was extremely aware of the bright light and how peaceful everything was amongst the chaos. Very interesting. Question, did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer, as I was surrounded by light, there was no sense of time. I knew I had been shot and rescue was with me, but time stood still. I felt myself above them and there was no sense of time. Time definitely wasn't moving fast and I felt no awareness of time. I think I was only in the light for 1 to 2 minutes. Question, comparing your vision. Answer, I could only see bright, blinding light, like if you stared at the sun, but it was in the back of my head and all-encompassing. That's interesting. Question, comparing your hearing. Answer, the sounds of the rescuers working on me were more in the distance than close to me. When I was speaking and saying, I'm still here, it was more in my mind than coming out of my mouth. The firefighters later told me that I didn't speak at that time. I was motionless, with my eyes fixed open. I was apparently dead at that moment. Question, did you see an unearthly light? Answer, yes. 360 degrees of the brightest light you can imagine surrounded all of me. Actually, I was nothing but light. I was experiencing pure, bright light. I couldn't see anything but blinding light. And the emotions that felt during the experience, very peaceful and calm. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, Buddhist. I always considered myself spiritual. Buddhism comes closest to describing what I believe in. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, uncertain. I'm still a very spiritual person. I definitely feel more love and compassion for others after the NDE. Question, what is your religion now? Answer, do not know. The NDE left me questioning everything. I believe in religion far less after my NDE. Question, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Answer, both consistent and inconsistent. Prior to the NDE, I believe that when you die, you are rid of all worldly drama like ego, jealousy, anger, etc., and you go to a peaceful place or possibly get reincarnated, but now I don't know. I feel like I had a glimpse of the other side, and although it was wonderful and peaceful and calm, Now I'm not so sure about reincarnation. I liked not knowing, but the NDE left me wondering even more what happens after. I wish the experience had answered more of those questions. Question: did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer: yes, I believe all the more we need to be more compassionate towards one another. I thought that way before the NDE, but it is even more important now. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about pre-mortal existence? Answer: yes. The peace I felt was extraordinary. I returned from the NDE with intense compassion for humankind that I've never felt before. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about the meaning of life? Answer: uncertain. I don't think the life purpose came at the time of the NDE, but after. I have felt different since the NDE. The main meaning that I took away was the lack of compassion people have for one another. During the NDE, I felt such peace and compassion that I was sad to return to not have others feel what I felt. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer: unknown, uncertain. My experience has left me sad because I didn't feel a sense of life after, just a void. Question: did you gain information about how to live our lives? Answer: yes. During the NDE, I was very aware that peace is within us. We just need to tap into it. Post NDE, I often close my eyes and put my face towards the sun to reenact the bright light experienced and try and recapture the feeling of blissed out peace that I felt. Question: what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer: large changes. It has been almost 5 years since the NDE, and I've struggled with depression quite a bit. Part of it is PTSD, but I think a lot of it is related to the NDE. I spent almost 2 years struggling with alcohol abuse. Even though I've never had a problem with alcohol before, it was never an issue. I hope to learn as much as I can about the NDE and hope I can better myself and help others that struggle with depression. Question: have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer: yes. I'll start with the good. I adore people in a way that I didn't before. I always cared about humanity and have incredible friends and family, but the NDE made me love and appreciate them all the more. I want to hug everyone, and I was a handshaker prior to the NDE. The bad news is, the new me has put a huge strain on my marriage. My husband does not understand what I feel now, although I've tried to tell him about the NDE and how it changed me, but it doesn't matter. I have also become very sensitive to harsh words, even bright lights and sounds, all of which annoys him. Question: was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer: yes. It's hard to describe the actual feelings. It was a relief to find this website and know others are out there who understand how difficult it is to capture the awe of the experience. Question: how accurately do you remember the experience in comparison to other life events that happened around the same time? Answer: I remember it as accurately. I remember details of the morning before being shot, which is unusual because I had been a deputy sheriff for 15 years at the time I was injured. I can't recall any days like I can the day I was shot. I was shot at approximately 11:40 a.m. I remember everything about waking up that morning and all I did prior to being injured. No psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts? Question: are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer: the most meaningful thing was the renewed value that I have for everyone and everything in my life. I have such a strong knowing of how quickly it can all be gone, and we need to savor and enjoy every moment. Unfortunately, my husband can't relate to how I feel. Even though he almost lost me, it didn't have the impact on him that it did on me. It hasn't brought us closer, but has pushed us apart. I'm constantly torn between a feeling of bliss and sadness. After the NDE, I became extremely sensitive to all the world and our community problems. Question: what did you believe about the reality of your experience? Answer: experience was definitely real. I knew in my heart I had an NDE. I had definitely been in a brilliant place, and it was awesome. I also thought that maybe I was just in shock, and that's why it happened. but I knew it was real and not just my body going into shock from the blood loss. I wish it would have lasted longer and more amazing things would have happened, but I am happy that I felt peace and know that life is precious. I have a new sense of love for the people in my life. That was the best part. End questions. End quote. Thank you, Robin. We're thinking of you and appreciate you sharing that with us. I enjoyed it. And, even though the story itself in written form was short, the questions that were asked and you answered, Robin, and your answers, I mean, part of reading this is to learn about heaven and what kind of extraordinary things that you went through, no doubt about it. But also, it's kind of the human story, too. Your story, Robin. Your story that was interesting, and your story that we can relate to and think of you and appreciate what you might be going through. So, thank you about that. And thanks out there for listening. Hope you have a great day.